latest in tech suit innovation. The Tier Vinzo utilizes frictionless fiber construction, surface lift technology, endo compression cage, seamless exo shell, Tier Vinzo, Battleborn.
Edinburgh put lots of opportunities in front of me, and all I had to do was take them.
There is just so much to do in this city. Always something new to discover.
I love exploring Edinburgh. I found the people here very friendly and so much fun.
The city is known for being a global innovator in so many fields. That's what made it very attractive.
Edinburgh University is highly ranked worldwide. It's got such a strong academic reputation, which is why I was so eager to come here.
Edinburgh was always where I wanted to go to university during high school years.
It's a city with so many opportunities. It's a city you can be yourself in, and it's a city that challenges you.
Volleyball was a huge part of my life before starting university. It's been great playing it here as team captain.
The city has given me global opportunities to build my career, and I'll always be grateful for that.
The environment here has changed me. I've discovered my own independence.
I've made a lot of friends in Edinburgh. Scottish people are so welcoming. They've made me feel part of the city.
Everything I wanted to do, Edinburgh made happen. That's what university should be about. You need to be in a city that can inspire you.
There are a lot of world-class universities, but how many of them are in world-class cities?
Go Edinburgh.
Go Edinburgh.
Go Edinburgh. Go Edinburgh.
Go Edinburgh.
Come on, Edinburgh! Well, morning everyone, and welcome back to the Royal Commonwealth Pool here in the heart of Edinburgh. We are here for 2 days of action at the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2019. Well, we had a great day of action yesterday, and we're looking forward to another great day of action today. Day 2 of this 3-day meet. I'm Paul Noble. I'll be taking you through the action today, and today I've got a friend in the commentary box. Duncan McKinnell joins us this morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Morning, Duncan. Good to see you.
We should have a very good session ahead of us here. 400 IM to start with. Juan Pons, the fastest qualifier for that one, so watch out for him. European Championship bronze medalist.
Yeah, we've got a lot of big names taking part here today. Big contingent for Spain. Well, it's not a big contingent for Spain, but it's very high quality contingent, isn't it, the Spanish team?
It certainly is. Jessica Val comes to mind. Melanie Costa was on great form last night.
Yeah, so Spanish looking for a good start there in the 400 metres individual medley, up to the distances as well for the 800, and we've got some sprints as well, and of course one Adam Peaty to look forward to as well.
Yes, 100 breaststroke today, and he'll be doing the 50 tomorrow, so looking forward to that. We've also got a fantastic contingent from Scandinavian countries here. The Danes are out in force. Here's what's coming up for you. 400 IM, as I said earlier on. We follow that with the 800 freestyle. Just the one heat. Faster heat will be swum tonight. Then the 50s. It's backstroke today. So men and women both doing backstroke. 100 breaststroke, as Paul mentioned. Adam Peaty will be the star of the show there. But we've also got some very strong British competition for him. We saw a great 200 breaststroke between Wilby and Murdoch, with James Wilby breaking the meet record that he set last year. He looked in good form. Do you think he could give Peaty a wee run for his money?
Well, it's a brave man that's going to bet against Adam Peaty in the 100 breaststroke, that's for sure, the world record holder. But you never know, James Wilby. I think James Wilby, last year, I remember him swimming in this event, and he kind of came to prominence as well. And a very similar situation for Alice Thomas as well, who goes again in the 100 fly, and she had a great 200 fly yesterday as well. So 2 Commonwealth champions taking part there. James Wilby and Alice Thomas last night. They're back in again, but it's going to be tougher in the shorter distances for them, I think.
Got an interesting second heat of the women's 400 IM. Lane 4, Hannah Miley. Lane 5, Amy Wilmot. Does that remind you of anything?
Oh yeah, gold and silver medalists the last 2 Commonwealth Games, isn't it? 2014 and 2018. Amy Wilmot and Hannah Miley, great rivals, but Hannah Miley just coming back. And I spoke to her last night, Hannah Miley. She said that she was just pleased to get back in the water, and she's building towards the rest of this season, and again for hoping to make Tokyo next year, which would be absolutely incredible.
Yes, if she could do that. Just named as ambassador for the European Short Course Championships course that will take place at the end of the year in Glasgow. That would be certainly something to look forward to. We've got another lot of 50s as well. 50 free for the men. Cumberledge, Maclay, Jack Thorpe, Scottish record holder. So there's some good talent from the British teams there. Of course, Stirling and Edinburgh University well represented there.
Yeah, and one Duncan Scott as well, going in the 50 freestyle as well. So be interesting to see what Duncan can do.
Yes, that will be interesting. Don't normally see him on the 50 event. Men's 800 free.
Yeah, the 800 freestyle, always a decent event.
Again, the fastest heat on that one will be swum tonight. And then we finish off with women's 200 freestyle. Second appearance for Melanie Costa in that one. You would think she would be the favourite there. Lucy Hope, fastest in the penultimate heat. And Freya Anderson, of course, who's a real emerging talent on the British scene.
Yeah, we saw her win the skins last night, Freya Anderson. So that was, although it is a 50-metre event, it was pretty much a test of endurance, the skins.
Yes, 5 rounds. We get that coming up tonight. So do tune in for that. You can see there that the athletes are ready to go for the first event.
You just see the sponsors of this meet scrolling through your screen there. Big thank you to University of Edinburgh, City of Edinburgh Council, TIER, and the Sports Abroad swim training camps. Really great to have the support of these 4 organisations, the main sponsors of this event here, the Edinburgh International Swim Meet. And it's really been building up over the last 5 years. It was a massive event back in the 80s and the early 90s. I remember coming here when I was swimming. It was that long ago, and then it went into abeyance. It's been resurrected. It's been an excellent event, hasn't it?
Yes, it certainly has. It's over the last few years we've seen certainly all the best British swimmers coming up. Of course, last year it was British Championships as well, right in the middle of the snow, the beast from the east. We all battled our way through the snow to get here and had a fantastic meet. This time, well, a bit sleety here in Edinburgh this morning, but no snow lying on the ground, so a lot easier for everyone to get themselves to the Royal Commonwealth Pool. What a great venue the Royal Commonwealth Pool is now. 8-lane pool, had a massive renovation a few years ago, and really has the benefit of that. You get this real sense of space here, and I know athletes love competing in this pool. We're just about ready to go, so this is the first of 3 heats in the men's 400 individual medley. Just the 3 swimmers going in this one. And they're all juniors, 18 and under is the definition for juniors in this meet. Billy Watton, City of Oxford, in lane 3. Angus Allison of Warrender, the local team, in lane 4. And Pierce Greening of Cockermouth, he goes in lane 5.
Yeah, Billy Watton had a busy day yesterday, swam in the morning, also swam in the afternoon, and he had a couple of finals last night in the final session, so he has been busy. Billy Watson from City of Oxford. I saw City of Oxford feature in a number of the finals last night, most prominently in breaststroke. Seem to have a great crop of breaststrokers from City of Oxford.
Yes, they certainly do, and you think of the likes of David Murphy, Toby Morey Mackay champion, of course, down from Scotland last season and a half now, as part of the City of Oxford setup, and a number of others as well. But they also showed their skills over other events, and we're seeing that here from Billy Watton. He leads the way. Interesting there, we're going informal on their names there. Billy, Angus there, first and second there, as we go through into the second half. Second half? What am I talking about? Second stroke. Billy Watton in the dark blue cap, but he's got them right up with him now in the backstroke. As we see things go back and forwards, we go from stroke to stroke, coming up halfway through the backstroke, and now it's Pierce Greening. And we're talking about great programs. What about Cockermouth? And just time after time, a small town club produced for the most fantastic swimmers out of a little 4-lane pool.
Yeah, Cockermouth have produced some excellent swimmers in the past, and they've got a real crop coming through now. The Greenbanks were well represented. Luke Greenbank now moved on, but Cockermouth represented here by Pierce Greening. They had representation in the Commonwealth Games last year as they go through the halfway point. Well, we talked about City of Oxford featuring heavily in the breaststroke. Cockermouth seemed to feature heavily in the backstroke, and Pierce Greening has used that backstroke to great advantage. They're all in a diagonal line now as they come now into the second half, into the breaststroke. And very often the breaststroke, especially in a 400 individual medley, can be extremely important. And as I said, all in a row, that familiar red Warrender Baths cap in the centre. Angus Allison just pulling up alongside Pierce Greening now with the yellow cap. Wouldn't be surprised if it all closes up between all 3 of the swimmers as they come down to the bottom end onto the freestyle. Good contest this for the very first heat of the morning. Angus Allison, 4:36.50 was the entry time for the fastest entry for Angus Allison. He was some 3 seconds faster than Pierce Greening, who was 4 seconds faster than Billy Watton. So hopefully we'll get some decent times posted by this very first heat, and Angus Allison may well just have the edge as they come into this final breaststroke to freestyle turn. Very tight at that turn.
3:36 dead, and just looking back, these two have got a bit of history in last year's British Summer Championships. The same age group, 16 this year, last year in the 15-year-old age group. Angus was second, Pierce was third. So that was the order last summer. At the moment, that's the order again. Angus Allison has just edged past Pierce Greening, coming up to the final turn, so he'll be looking to just show his dominance, particularly on his home territory. Won't want Pierce Greening to go past him. 4:08.07. The gap just under half a second at that penultimate turn. You see there, 0.45. The difference. It does look like Angus Allison is in charge now. So you can't tell early on. He was in third place, but not anymore. Down to the final 5 meters. And there's about a meter in it at the end. So good opening race there, 4:38. 5:8 to be precise for Angus Allison. 4:39.39 for Pierce Greening, and Billy Watton 4:47.74. So Billy faded a bit there as that race progressed. Might be a little disappointed with that, but a good battle between Allison and Greening throughout that race. So second heat is ready to go. Over the top starts throughout today. There's the lineup. So some good talent here. Joe Litchfield, part of the English Commonwealth Games team, goes in lane 4. Callum Lowry, very much a 400 IM specialist from the University of Stirling. He's beside him in lane 5. You saw the lineup there. Baptiste Colomas, Stade Clermont of France. Andreas Mars of SG Stade Germany. Then we've got the Dane Jacob Jorgensen of Kastrup. The Englishman Joe Litchfield, City of Sheffield. The Scot Callum Lowry from the University of Stirling. Another Englishman, Adam Wilson, as junior champion yesterday in the 1500 freestyle. Goes for Newcastle in 6. Jamie McDonald of Warrender in lane 7.
Leading them through in the early stages, Joe Litchfield with a clear lead in at the bottom of those 2 yellow lane markers. Callum Lowry 1 lane up, and Adam Wilson now probably just outside Adam Lowry, picking up into second position. So 1 minute dead. I go through Joe Litchfield. And you said, Duncan, Commonwealth Games swimmer for England. A number of Commonwealth Games swimmers taking part here in Edinburgh. A number of good internationalists as well. We'll see the European bronze medalist in the next heat to come from Spain. Still some quality to look for as we go through here.
Litchfield looking pretty strong here though. He's about 3 meters up, halfway through the backstroke. 1:34.83. The gap nearly 2.5 seconds at this stage. Can you see anybody closing this down in the second half?
Well, Litchfield will be the favourite for this one. We are into the 2 seeded heats here. So Callum Lowry and Joe Litchfield will be the ones that were the favourites. We will progress to a final, of course. The top 8 will progress to the final. So Litchfield will be fairly certain that if he can finish in the top 2 or 3, that he might be able to make it to that final. I'm sure he'll have something left in reserve when they come to the final. The young Adam Wilson going well in second position. He performed very well in the 15. It all got a little bit stretched out in the 1500 last night in the final. So Adam Wilson practically had to swim that whole 1500 on his own.
Yes, he did, and he really stuck to the task well. He was, sitting in around 4th or 5th place, was it, in the open final up against the senior swimmers. So he swam his own race and put in a very good time. Now he's in the mix there in that group of swimmers, way behind Litchfield, who's got now to about a 7 meter lead now. Litchfield, of course, City of Sheffield, another hotbed of swimming talent, got a fantastic facility, of course, in Ponds Forge to train from. Finalist in the Commonwealth Games, which was talked about. He came up to Scotland and won the Scottish National Championships last summer. So very much 400 IM is a Litchfield speciality. Max unfortunately picked up an injury and not able to come here. He was entered, but unfortunately we'll not be seeing him this weekend. But his brother is keeping up the Litchfield reputation very nicely indeed. 3:26.13 for him. And you can see their big advantage. Jakob Jorgensen touching second, and Callum Lowry, perhaps you'd expect rather more from Callum Lowry at this stage. He's got a bit of work to do to get into that top 8, you would think.
Yeah, he wants to be ahead of Adam Wilson. That's the tussle there. You see just on the left of your screen, Jorgensen coming through into second. There's no doubt that Litchfield is going to win this one, and he's going to make his way into that final. Joe Litchfield turns there, 3:58. 3-1. It's tight between, well, 3 or 4 swimmers here. Lane number 1, that's Baptiste Colomas coming back into contention as well. He's gone into 3rd spot. Callum Laurie down in 5th at the moment. He really has to pick up, make sure he finishes in that top 3 to make sure of a place in that final. There are 3 or 4 swimmers all abreast here as Litchfield comes into the final stages. Litchfield will take that one comfortably in 4:27. He'll make his way into the final, I'm sure. And it might be Baptiste Colomas in for 2nd ahead of Jorgensen, with Adam Wilson in 4th and Callum Laurie down in 5th. Well, Callum Laurie could be a struggle to get into that final tonight. 5th position. And, well, Adam Wilson in 4:39.06 has got the touch. Could that be vital? There's a result. Joe Litchfield taking that 4:27.84. Baptiste Coloma coming through very strongly in the closing stages for 2nd. And in 3rd spot was Jacob Jorgensen, who came through in the second half of that race. Top 8 will progress to the final. Here is the 3rd and final heat. We have Fraser Allison on the left-hand side from Warren de Baths. Alvie Helm in lane 2 from Hohenstatens. Brodie Williams from Millfield in 3. The 2 Spanish swimmers, John Pons and Alex Castillon in 4 and 5. Zach Logue from City of Sunderland in 6. Gianno Napolitano from University of Stirling in 7. And Jakob Stolm-Nissen from Kastrup up there at the top in lane number 8. So 2 Spanish swimmers will be starting as favourites of this one. John Pons, very much 400 metres individual medley specialist, and he is looking like he is striding away at the front of the field. Very straight arm butterfly there. Real power for the Spanish swimmer. Bronze medalist, as you said, Duncan, at the European Championship, so some pedigree for John Pons. In 2nd position, well, it's a fight between 3 swimmers at the moment. Just getting the touch, Brodie Williams in 2nd spot, but 59.50, a little bit faster than the heat before.
Yes, inside the minute there for the fly lead off. Brodie Williams from Millfield School is just about holding 2nd place. Nice shot of that backstroke action there. So we look down the pool and you can see that Pons around, what, 2.5 metres maybe up as we go through the 150. The gap about 1.4 at this stage. Williams now pulling away. Lane 5 looks to be a bit of a cursed lane at the moment because Castillon is not looking that great in lane 5. He's a little bit away from the leading pair. Going nicely over in lane 8 though. Jakob Stolm-Nissen from Kastrup. So he is challenging for 3rd place as we go to the breaststroke. 2:07.06, now quite a bit faster than Litchfield was. About 1.8, 1.9 at the halfway mark, and a gap of 1.5 between Pons and Williams.
Yeah, we did see Brodie Williams pick up strongly on the backstroke yesterday in the individual medley, but he's got his work cut out now as they move on to the breaststroke. Here comes Alex Castillon, the 2nd Spanish swimmer, now challenging for 2nd position. He did drop back on the backstroke, but he's picked up nicely on the breaststroke, moving into 2nd there as they go through that turn. He's behind his countrymate at the moment. Brodie Williams clear in 3rd position. These top 3 looking pretty safe at the moment to progress to the top 8 and to that final. Also going well, lane number 2, Alvie Helm, just 1 lane down from Brodie Williams, and still going well. Jakob Stolm-Nissen over there in lane number 8, challenging for 4th position. Could be vital to get that 4th spot there.
Yes, at the moment, 4th place from the first 2 heats, 4:38. And that was actually Angus Allison from the first heat. So he's got an outside shot of a chance in the A final. He'd certainly be in the junior final if he's not in the A final, but we'll keep an eye on that because now it's very much the two Spanish swimmers, Pons and Castellón, probably the top 2 ranked Spaniards in this event. And it is Pons who has been in charge throughout, and he is going to be a fair bit faster than Litchfield was a little while ago, I think. Be interesting to see whether Castellón is also faster. 4:27.84 was the time from Litchfield. So keep an eye on that. Are we going to have Spaniards in lanes 4 and 5 in the final? Could be. Certainly going to have Pons in lane 4, I think. He's coming in. The clock just closing at 4:23.58. Looking at the scoreboard here at the Commonwealth Pool, 4:25.84 for Castellón. So they will be in the 2 centre lanes, Paul.
Yeah, I'm sure that Joe Litchfield will be aware of that time. He'll know what he has to do. Joe Litchfield, he had a lot more in the tank, I'm sure. Should be an interesting final. Pons and Castellón looking pretty good at the front of the field, and the scoreboard has just gone blank then, and never good news for someone.
And it's lane 8, I'm afraid. Jakob Stungernissen, who has fallen foul of the judges, so unfortunately he has a DQ. So Pons there, confirmed as the winner of our final heat, and he will certainly be in lane 4 tonight. We're going through to 800 free now. Just the 3 swimmers. The second heat will be swum tonight, so these 3 will be looking to set the target time for tonight's swimmers to chase. Got some good junior talent here. Rebecca Reid from Aberdeen, Iona McLeod from Dundee City Aquatics in that pinkish cap, and they're up against the very experienced Amber Keegan from City of Sheffield. So youth versus experience here. 16 lengths of the pool as we get ourselves settled into this one. Their entry times all around the 9-minute mark. 8:57 for Iona is the fastest of the 3. 9:00 for Amber and 9:07 for Rebecca. At the moment it's Iona in the pink cap and Rebecca in the black cap who are setting, sorry, it's Amber Keegan I should say in the black cap. Rebecca in the familiar white of Aberdeen. But Iona and Amber just about side by side early on here. So, swimming legend Paul Noble, 800 freestyle, was that your thing?
Well, not really. I did it a couple of times, but I would have liked to have done more 800 freestyle. I think it would have suited me actually, because I swam in Paralympics. Of course, it wasn't a Paralympic event. Occasionally they did it in the World Championships, but it was never really a focus for me. The highest I went was 400, but I quite liked the idea of the 800.
Yeah, it's a nice concept.
Yeah. I would have liked to have done it, I think, but I didn't really get the opportunity, so we didn't feel we could devote a lot of time to it in training. Yeah, I quite like watching the 800 still. It can be fascinating. Occasionally you get to races that are well spread out, but we'll keep an eye on the splits, see if the gaps are increasing or decreasing between all the swimmers. It can be really, really fascinating, these races. I mean, that 1500 last night was a superb time for Daniel Jervis from Swansea University. Just repping just about a minute for each of the 100. Made it easy for us to do the maths in commentary. Yes. That's what we like.
I'm sure that's exactly what he had in mind when he said, right, I'll stick to the minute. Give Paul a break.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Thank you very much, Daniel Jervis.
2:10.26 at 200 for Amber Keegan, so she's setting off at a nice pace, just under 67 for her second 100. She has a bit of good recent form. She actually went faster than her entry time at the Bucks Championships, British Universities Championships, about a month ago down in Sheffield. She was the silver medalist there, so perhaps it's slightly surprising to see her just in this early heat rather than swimming with the big guns tonight, but she has to take her chance where it comes, and she'll be wanting to push on here, and certainly has got now the clear advantage over the Dundonian Iona McLeod. Really promising young talent, Iona, a youth squad member here in Scotland. Saw her perform very well in the backstroke, winning the junior title yesterday in 100 backstroke, so showing some great form on backstroke, but we mainly think of her as a middle and distance freestyler. So let's see how she progresses. 3:18.32 at the 300 for Amber, so slightly slower than that third 100, 68 compared with the 67 that she was on for the previous 100. How's your maths on 68s, Paul? Can you work that one out?
Not as good as just exactly 1 minute, but I'm sure we'll be able to manage it. She has a lead of about 5.5 seconds or so over Iona McLeod as they went through that 300 mark. We'll come up to the halfway point as they come down to the bottom end again. And,
yes. My reckoning is, so she entered 9 double low, did an 8:59 at British Universities. I think she might be slightly faster than 8:59 here if she can keep this going. Certainly now very much in charge of the heat. Amber, you can see now some 10 meters back. Just saw Iona rather, going through the halfway markers. Amber went past the 15-meter markers, and halfway mark 4:26.55. So that's another 68.
yeah, decent pace in here. You put your head above the parapet early in terms of predicting that time. Duncan still halfway through this 800.
In an 800, you've got to be brave.
You have indeed. Almost out of the picture now, Iona McLeod, this lead extending all the time. Just a reminder, you can tweet us using the hashtag EISM19. If you go onto the Twitter feed, you'll see a picture of Duncan and myself on that Twitter feed. That'll be a treat for everyone.
Yep.
Please
Scare
send us
people on a Saturday morning. Send them back under the duvet.
Please send us your messages of good luck. We had a few congratulatory messages yesterday from the swimmers. We saw some para records yesterday, and Beth Johnson from the board has been getting a lot of Twitter love for Beth Johnson for our record swim yesterday, so good to see that. So please send us in your messages, any questions you may have for Duncan and myself, and we'll try and give you a mention here on the live stream this morning.
Yes, Ollie Carter got a nice record as well. We saw him on the Twister Sphere as well, and Tony Shaw as well was the third. We also had a world fastest time in the SB14 from Scott Quinn in the 200 breaststroke, and some meet records last night. Will be twice, both in the heat and in the finals. So he looked in great form. James Guy as well. So some super swimming last night, and we're seeing really a very respectable 800 free here from Amber Keegan. She has now got to do it entirely on her own. No other swimmer anywhere in the shot here as we see Amber make her way down towards 600 meters. So let's see what that time is going to be. She's been pretty consistent on the 68s throughout. 6:43.71, so 69 this time, so just slipped a little bit on that 600. This is where it will be starting to just bite a bit here, and you just really got to drive on and try and hold that pace.
She still looks fairly strong, though, as she comes into 150 to go. You'd expect her just to get a little bit of a boost as she goes in to that final 100. She'll hear the bell as she comes down to this bottom end. In terms, and here comes Amber Keegan. We'll just give a check of that split, see what she has to do on this final 100. She'll be looking for somewhere around about the 7:52, 53 mark as she hits this bottom end. Again, no one really in sight now. Iona McLeod. The gap has increased between Amber Keegan and Iona McLeod. 7:52, it's a decent time. She has picked up the pace here, and she's going to have to go 67.7, 67.6 if she's going to get under that 9-minute mark. She should be capable of that. We would normally see a little bit of a spurt on the final 100.
Yep. I'm beginning to feel pretty good about my early prediction now as she comes up towards the final turn. As we said, completely dominating as she turns here. Just watch the clock, 8:26.52, so that was about a 34, but this is where she ought to pick it up now. She's got to come back in under 33 or thereabouts to get under the 9 minutes. You can see that stroke rate just increasing now as she went past that halfway marker, coming up 15 to go, and she's got to drive it home now. Just use every last piece of energy that she's got as she goes into the final 5. Watch the clock there, 8:58, 8:59. Oh, just under the 9 minutes, 8:59.98. So, well, 8:59.62 at British University, so just a 3/10 back on that time. But, well, you can see there, that took quite a bit out of her. Here comes Iona McLeod, completes her race. 9:17 for her. Entered 8:57, so she's probably not terribly happy with that. You can see there just her mood music, I think, as she went onto the lane ropes there, not terribly great. Rebecca Reed coming in for third spot. 8:9.33 for her.
Yeah, Rebecca Reed, 9:33 in third spot. It all did get a little bit stretched out there, but Amber Keegan swam very good swim at the front of the field. And yeah, you nailed it, Duncan. Just under the 9 minutes. Pretty good performance there for Amber Keegan. Now from the distance events, we are down to the one length events. It is the 50-metre backstroke, and we have 7 heats of this 50 metres backstroke for men. And the first one, William Ellis from Borough of Stockton in line 3, Yazin Ono from West Lothian in 4, and Daniel Chada from Bishop Stortford in lane number 5. So, as I said, 7 heats of this one. The top 8 will progress to the senior final, which will be skins, and the next 8, the top 8 juniors will progress to the junior final as well. So no B finals in this 50 metres. You've got to be in the top 8 to make the final, whether it be senior or juniors. Entry times for these swimmers, all in the 28.3. There's only 3 100s separating all 3 in terms of the entry. And in the centre, Yazin Ono. Let's see who's got the best underwater work there. It probably was Yazin Ono, although William Ellis did a good job as well. Closest to us, William Ellis now heading Yazin Ono, and Daniel Chada coming back very strongly in the latter part here. Daniel Chada certainly got into his stroke here just as they were approaching that halfway point, and he's going to come home in front, I think. Daniel Chada will take it in 28.30. Well, consistent stuff there. Entry time 28.31. He's gone 1/100th faster. Any improvement's a good improvement.
Absolutely. So there's confirmation there. 28.30, 28.78 for Ellis. As we go on to heat number 2. Fraser Wilson, Owen McBurney, Toby Hill, Alfie Scott, Cameron Travis, Carl Barrett. 6 swimmers in this one. 28.0 to 28.2. The range of entry times on this one, so 28.3, the time to beat at this stage. And these 6 will be looking to try and do that. Nice start there from Fraser Wilson in lane 2. He really was quite explosive off the wall. So important in the backstroke, really, to get that push off right. But now the swimmers in the centre lanes, Toby Hill and Alfie Scott, Prescott and Newcastle, are starting to show. There's a number of other swimmers pretty close as well. Travis is there, Barrett there, the two from Aberdeen. But it's going to be lane 4 who takes it. Toby Hill of Prescott, the 15-year-old this year. 27.96, so just nicks under the 28 seconds. So that's a nice little marker for him. 28.2 for Alfie Scott. A tie, in fact, with Carl Barrett. 28.20 for the two of them.
Well, very close racing there. Thumbs up there from Toby Hill. He's had a good couple of days so far. Another improvement for him, dipping under the 28 mark. There's the lineup for heat number 3. You might have heard the klaxon in the background there. That means a spot prize on offer for the winner of this heat. Our sponsors here are offering spot prizes for certain races, just selected at random. So the winner of this one will win a tier goodie bag. And it has inspired the swimmers to go a little bit faster in the heats than they might have gone. But no holding back, of course, in this 50 backstroke. Lineup for this one: Samuel Greenbank, Lewis Maxwell, Tom Ward, Daniel Jenkins, Liam Harkin, Nicholas Skelton, Ryan Robertson and Ian Rose. Good start in lane 5. Liam Harkin away very well in the early stages. Coming back though, Daniel Jenkins, the fastest qualifier, 27.5. The entry time for Daniel Jenkins. Looks like he might have the edge. It is very tight, but Jenkins might just take this one in the middle. 27.86. It is Daniel Jenkins taking it ahead of Ryan Robertson, just up there at the top, and Ian Rose, the two swimmers in lane 7 and 8. But Daniel Jenkins takes it, 27.86, the only one under the 28-second mark.
Yes, it really got no time to recover from a poor start or slightest mistake in this 50, so you really have to get everything right. Starting now, this is heat 4. Callum Chittlebread, Alex Watkinson, Connor Massey, Keir Edgar, Nathan Wells, Alan Corby, Meg Sipipat and James McFadden. 27.0 to 27.4 the entry times here. Not much to choose between them as they come off the wall. Lane 6, Alan Corby from Limerick is going nicely, but there's plenty of others. Lane 8 is up there, James McFadden of Loughborough. I think it might be between these two. Over to the top of your screen there. Who gets the touch? It is James McFadden right up in lane 8. 27.57 is the winning time. And there's confirmation on your screen. 900ths ahead of Alan Corby, with Keir Edgar taking 3rd. So any lane can take the win in these sprints.
Yeah, they're in lane 8. We do move on to the seeded heats now. So expect a little bit of an injection of pace here. Philippos Yakovidis in 1, Sam Peace in 2, Luke Greenbank in 3, Craig McNally in 4, Magnus Jacobson in 5, Mark Ford in 6, Sebastian Overson in 7, and Harry Turner at the top in lane number 8. Craig McNally had a great swim in the 100 backstroke yesterday, probably better known as a 200 backstroker. He goes in lane number 4. Magnus Jacobson had the better start, 1 lane up in lane number 5. Luke Greenbank, we spoke about him earlier. He is going well in lane number 3. It's 3, 4 and 5 as they come into the finish. Maybe lane number 5 might just take this one, Jacobson. And he does take it, I think. 26.54 for Magnus Jacobson. That's into the 26 range. Luke Greenbank in 2nd. Not much in that at all. 4/100ths of a second. And McNally, well, again, didn't get the best start, McNally, and wasn't able to pick it up in the closing stages of that 50. As you said, Duncan, not much room for error.
No, he's on the cusp now, 3rd place in that heat, because we've got 3 cycle seeded heats in the 50s. So we'll need to watch there as to see whether he's going to make it through into the skins. this penultimate heat. We have Joe Watt, Brodie Williams, Grant Henderson, Perry Gardner, Scott Gibson, Marcus Lee, Elliot Clogg and Jesper Bjork. And Perry Gardner with the fastest entry time, silver medalist here in national short course. Good start in lane 6 from Marcus Lee of Bergen. So he is the one who was really pretty explosive off the wall. Represented Norway in the European Championships. In fact, he was quite a bit faster there than he's entered on here, about half a second. And in the context of a 50 was a pretty comfortable win there, 26.33 for Lee. Second place, 26.64 Scott Gibson, and third Jesper Bjork, 26.79. So looks like 26.5, 26.6 might be the time you have to get into the final.
Final heat coming up now. Let's see what these swimmers can do. That was a cracking start from Marcus Lee, a Norwegian there. He held on to the end. Jack Shillinglaw in 1, Andrew Sawkins 2, Liam White in 3, Martin Walton in 4, Christian Dina in 5, Kevin Christensen in 6, Anders Elmgreen in 7, Geoffrey Matthew in lane number 8. Real international feel about this final heat, and another very cracking start there. Christian Dina, the experienced man from Potsdamer, the German, looked like he was in good form yesterday in the 100, taking that title. Looks like he's going to lead them back here in the 50 in this final heat. It is going to be Christian Dina in first in a time of 25.74. Well, really stamping his authority on that one. Liam White in second, just over the 26 mark, 26.09 for Liam White, and Martin Walton just getting the touch over Kevin Witt Christensen. 6/100ths of a second separating those two, 26.49 and 26.55, and that might be a vital touch there.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. We stick with 50 backstroke now, go to the women. And we're going to have 6 heats this morning in this women's 50 backstroke, just the 3 scheduled to go in the first heat. So Dina looked very good there, as 25.74 is over half a second faster than anybody else from the earlier heat. So won the 100 yesterday. Looks like he might be setting for a double, 50 and 100.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. He went out like really explosive there, Christian Dina. He's an experienced campaigner. He's been an internationalist for a number of years. Christian Dina won medals in the major championships as well, and he looks in cracking form here as he builds up. I'm sure that a number of these swimmers working towards the World Championships, certainly the British swimmers, the trials for the British team for the World Championships just taking place in around about a month's time in Glasgow. So a lot of these swimmers building up towards that, so don't expect them to be on the very top of their form at the moment. I'm sure in a month's time they'll all be trying to peak for those trials for the World Championships. Started now for the women's 50 backstroke. The first heat sees 3 swimmers: Rachel Gillespie closest to us, Morven Lister in the middle, and Caitlin Cambrook in lane number 5. Very good start for Caitlin Cambrook from City of Sunderland, but she is being caught by the 2 in the lanes down from her. Morven Lister in the middle coming back, but it might be Rachel Gillespie, but it is Cambrook who's going to hold on to it. She held on from start to finish, 31.24 for Caitlin Cambrook, and the advances of the other 2 were just held off. 1/100 separating Rachel Gillespie and Morven Lister in the end. So 31.24, 31.68 and 31.69.
Yes, it's small margins in these 50s. Here's the lineup for Heat 2. Lena Krondel, Scarlett Ferris, Johanna Hingebjerg, Annabelle McCrory, Alice Meldrum, Neve Green and Lucy Ross. 30.7, 30.8 the entry times here. So 31.24 is the time they've got to beat from the first heat. A lovely shot of the underwater work there. Great start from Lena Krondel. Ersfield Linz, the Austrian champion. Lane 4 is now starting to make her move. Annabelle McCrory from Derwent's side, bronze medalist in the Swim England summer meet, and I think it might be Annabelle. Well, it's going to be tight as they come in. Who got the touch? 30.88. It was actually Lena from lane 1 who managed to hold on to it. There wasn't a lot in it, just a 10th, but she takes the win. 30.88. You see there on your board. Annabelle McCrory second, and Scarlett Ferris takes third. We've got another of these hot heats coming up. Spot prize coming up for the winner of this next heat. Lena Crandall missing out on that. She was in the wrong heat.
She was. A few smiles there from the swimmers going into this heat just when they heard the klaxon there. So, you know, the pressure's on for this little one, everyone. Like a little goodie bag there from the sponsors. Line up for this one: Emily Ford, Ellie Turner, Iona McLeod back in again, Emma Bell, Sophie Amelie Schoen, Yasmin Perry, Niamh Ritchie and Abby St. Clair. On the start there, probably up there in lane 7, Niamh Ritchie doing some good underwater work as well. Also in lane 5, Sophie Amelie Schoen. And it might well be the firearm swimmer in lane number 5 leading them through here as they come into the final stages. Looks like it might be Sophie Amelie Schoen who's going to pick up this goodie bag, but coming back in lane 3, Iona McLeod with a late charge here, and it is lane number 5. Sophie Amelie Schoen will take that one at only just 30.46, and Iona McLeod, well, showing great powers of recovery after that 800, and she came through in the closing stages really well.
Yeah, it looked for a moment like she was going to get it. What would they do if there was a dead heat? Two good bags.
Oh, I'm hoping they would have two.
Surely
goodie
it would be
bags
two
again.
goodie
Yeah,
bags.
Must be.
On to heat 4 then. This is the first of the cycle-seeded heats. That's the lineup: Ava Simpson, Kathleen Dawson, Victoria Bier, Lotte Upan, Jane Brown, Emily Grant, Mimi Morley Isat and Sophie Hobber. 28 up to 30s. The range of times here. You'd expect the main action to be in the centre lanes, and certainly lane 4 off to a strong start. Lotte Upan, the Finn, now based in Stirling, 4th in the Finnish Championships, bronze in this pool in the National Short Course Championships in December, and she has got the clear advantage here, about a metre up. It's a right old scramble for second place, maybe lane 2. Kathleen Dawson, the experienced Scottish international, is just back, another one just coming back from injury, but it's 29.53 the winning time for Lotte.
Well, Lotte Upan has missed out on the final of the 100.
Yes, that was good for her on her comeback trail. Obviously all targets will be focused on Glasgow in a month's time to try and make it onto the World Championship team. That's where all the Brits will be focusing their attention at the moment. Cassie Wilde, another promising young Scottish swimmer, up next.
Cassie Wilde going in the centre lane there. Gulsimono, Emma Harvey, Africa Zamorano, Cassie Wilde, Molly Allen in the centre, Robin Crawford, Anna Main, Sarah Bro in the outside lane. In fact, no swimmer in the outside lane, but Cassie Wilde going really well. Commonwealth Games finalist. Just missing out on the medals in that Commonwealth Games last year in the Gold Coast in 5th position, but she is looking very good here in this 50. Cassie Wilde is going to win this by almost a body length. That was incredible. 28.91 for her, and she wins it by a huge margin from Anna Main, who's in the 32nd range, with Molly Allen in 3rd position. But impressive stuff there from Cassie Wilde in the context of that heat. Not well, she is faster than the previous heat, so making sure of that place in that top 8 for tonight.
And another Scot heading up this final heat, Lucy Hope. So we'll see how she goes in a lineup which comprises Jessica Damon, Isabel Jones, Emma Scobie, then Lucy Hope, then Julie Jensen, Jessica Fullerlove, Katie Shanahan, the youngster, and Vera Standing. Just about see the swimmer under the water there as they go past the flags, and it's lane 5 this time. Julie Jensen, the Danish swimmer, who is making the early move, semi-finalist in the European Championships in Glasgow. She's got the edge here, either side of her, Lucy Hope, but it looks like actually lane 6, Jessica Fullerlove in second place, but it's Jensen who takes the touch, 28.57, so that is the fastest time going into tonight. Second place Fullerlove, and third place Hope, 28.91, 29.30.
Fullerlove looked good last night in the final of the 100 backstroke, didn't she, Jessica Fullerlove?
Yes, she did. So that certainly has put her right in the mix. But Julie Jensen there, 28.57, some 3 or 4 tenths faster than the next fastest. Just looking at the top 8: Jensen, Wild, Fullerlove, Hope, Upan, Dawson, Bier, and Main, the ones showing as the 8 who will go through. 100 breaststroke next. Now, who might we be looking forward to seeing in the 100 breaststroke, I wonder?
6 heats to go on this 100 breaststroke. The world record holder coming up in heat number 6. Still some big names to look forward to as well, though. Scotland's own Ross Murdoch, of course, going in heat 4. James Wilby, champion from last night in the 200. He goes in heat number 5, and then the great Adam Peaty going in the final heat, and the local man right next to him, Craig Benson, twice an Olympian himself.
Yes, indeed. I'd really love to just take Peaty down.
It's easier said than done. Adam Peaty, you've got to say, he's a great supporter of this meet, the Edinburgh International. Comes back year after year, doesn't he?
Yes, and I would certainly recommend that you tune in to watch him in the 50 breaststroke tomorrow. That will be something. What he does, certainly in recent years in the skins, is just something to behold. He's got to get there though. But first of all, it's 100. 3 juniors in this first heat: Freddie Wilkinson of City of Oxford, Theo Goodfellow of Finns, and Dermot Sutton of Limerick. So England, Scotland and Ireland in this final Six Nations weekend. We've got 3 of the nations here going at it, and it's a strong start from the Irishman Dermot Sutton in the silver cap with a clear lead at halfway, 31.18. So he's looking good here. John Sharanick coaching down in the southwest of Ireland now, well known in these parts from his time at Carnegie and Edinburgh University, and he has brought a talented group of youngsters over to Edinburgh this weekend, and Dermot Sutton doing his bit here. 108.64 is his entry time, so can he improve on that? Was third in the Irish summer meet, and will be happy with that time, you would think. 107.32. So right in the middle of hard training to take 1.3 off your time. Happy days.
Yeah, very good swim there from Dermot Sutton. He's the first of, I think there's another couple of Limerick swimmers, another 3 in fact coming in the heats to come. So obviously doing well on the breaststroke. The squad coming over here. We're on to heat number 2 now of the 6 heats. We have Linus Cull from Landskrona in 2. Billy Watton back in the water again. Saw him in the individual medley earlier. Angus Matheson from Helsingborg in 4. Nikolai Sorebo from Bergen in 5. Max Hagan, City of Glasgow, goes in lane number 7, and Angus Allison from Warren de Bath in lane number 7. So very tight at the front of the field in these early stages. 3 or 4 swimmers all in a row, probably lane number 4 possibly. Gus Matheson, in fact, just being headed by Nikolai Sorebo from Bergen. Scandinavians well represented here. The Danes, the Swedes and the Norwegians, all with good contingents here. And also going well, the Landskrona swimmer in lane number 2 with that yellow cap. The entry times here, fastest was Auguste Matheson in 104.81, but he's being headed by Nikolai Sorebo from Bergen at the moment. Looks like the red cap from Sorebo is going to get in first here. His entry time 105.67. He's faster than that. So another good time we've seen in the early heats here. Nikolai Sorebo doing well in that second 50. Linus Karl, it was indeed, getting in with the yellow cap for second position. And Auguste Matheson in third spot, 106.98.
Yes, Sorebo's had some good swims so far this weekend, and that was certainly another one there. Remember, you can tweet us, hashtag EISM19. Ian Hill has done that. He was happy with son Toby, wins his 50 backstroke heat and qualifies for the British Championships. And that, of course, is a good marker as well. You can use this times here to enter for the British Championships. So well done, Toby Hill. Now we've got heat 3 coming up, and looks like we've got an empty lane in lane 1. We've then got Andrew McIntosh in 2, Gustav Persson in 3, Harry Devlin in 4, Jacob Jorgensen in 5, Robert Cowley in 6, Cameron Muir in 7, Jack McComish in lane 8. 103s and 104s the entry times here. Not too much in it at the turn. See who gets the touch. It's Robert Cowley in lane 6, turning in 30.29, so a little bit faster than the previous heat, about a quarter of a second for Cowley. He'll be coming down here trying to hold on to this advantage, and he looks to be doing that pretty well. Jack McComish, the deaf swimmer, going nicely. Bronze medalist in the European Deaf Championships. He's in the mix for second place. There's about 4 of them involved in that, but Cowley clear of them, and he takes the win in 104.41, so just outside his entry time, but only by 1200, so a pretty solid swim that. Second place in the end was Gustav Persson, 105.09, and Jakob Jorgensen just behind him, 105.26.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Cowley there, 104.41, the finishing time. Move on to the seeded heats now. And we see the first of the very big names, Ross Murdoch in the centre lane here from University of Stirling. Had a good swim last night in the 200 metres breaststroke, just behind James Wilby. And into the 100 breaststroke this time, the full lineup. Alex Castillon from Spain, back in the water again after the individual medley swim earlier this morning. Daniel Lim, Edinburgh University in 2. Greg Butler from City of Derby in 3. Ross Murdoch closing 4. Eric Carr next to him in 5 from Helsingborg. Archie Goodburn, junior swimmer from Warren Darbaths, goes in 6. George Hopkins in 7 from Swansea University. Liam Doyle, another Limerick swimmer, goes in the outside lane, lane number 8. Well, good start from Ross Murdoch. He means business here this morning. Not going to leave anything to chance. He wants to be in that big final. He's followed by Greg Butler from City of Derby. These two stretching away ahead of the field here, but Ross Murdoch is going to make sure of this one. Butler not too far behind, but Murdoch eases in a 101.38. Well, good swimming there from Ross Murdoch. That's an excellent heat time for him. That should see him comfortably into the top 8 for tonight. 101.38, Ross Murdoch. Pretty decent stuff, Duncan.
Yep, we'll just keep an eye on how these next 2 heats respond to that. We'll be up in lane 4 in this one. As Paul said, winner in the 200 breaststroke, new meet record. So we know he's on fine form, looking very honed here. Was part of the team, probably the headliner of the team that went over for British Swimming to America last weekend, competed in the Pro Series in Des Moines and was on the podium consistently across the breaststroke events. The lineup here, James McFadden, Philip Greve, Tobias Bjerg, then James Wilby, Melvin Imudu, Edward Baxter, Kyle Boyack and Joel O'Halloran. Well, lane 5 off to a good start. Melvin Imudu Let's see what he can do here. German champion. 28.63 it is, will be though. Just got the touch, 400ths ahead of Imudu. So they are faster at the halfway mark than Murdoch was by about 4/10. But this is pretty tight here. We didn't mention Imudu, but maybe we should have done. Also going well, Philip Greve from Ferrum in lane 2. So lane 3 moving up now, Tobias Bjerg. But it is going to be Wilby, and I think he is in control of proceedings here, looking very smooth as he comes in. 101.34, so 400ths faster than Murdoch. They pushed it out hard in that first half, that heat.
They did. That was a tasty heat there. Much more competitive than the first one. James Wilby taking that in the end, 101.34. And Tobias Berg, the only other man under the 102 mark. But it was very tight there in the finish. They've all given themselves a chance of making that top 8. One more heat to come, of course. And the great Adam Peaty, the world record holder, goes in the centre lane. Well, be a privilege for the other swimmers alongside him to compete. Owen Corby going in lane number 1, Joe Lambovi in 2, David Murphy in 3. PT goes in lane number 4, Craig Benson next to him in 5, Zach Aitchison in 6, Andre Grinheim in 7, and Ewan Cook from Limerick goes in lane number 8. But PT straight away into his stroke ahead of the field. Absolutely sensational as always for Adam Peaty. He's had just a superb last 4 or 5 years, really coming to prominence just around about the time of the Commonwealth Games in 2014, and well, ever since then he has been absolutely peerless. Adam Peaty stretching away at the front of the field. He does hold the meet record here in a very impressive 58.78. A real supporter of this Edinburgh International, and a real joy to watch him swim breaststroke. Coming in to the finish now, looking relaxed, and he's under the minute. Well, 59.94, a time that many others can only dream of, and it looked really comfortable for Adam Peaty. 59.94 in that heat. Craig Benson in second, just under the 102. That may well be enough to see him into the final, with David Murphy in third place. Might just sneak in David Murphy. We'll wait and confirm that top 8.
Yep, another great swim from PT there. And we'll be seeing him again tonight, and you certainly be probably pretty stupid if you bet against him taking the win once again here in the Edinburgh International, because we saw that absolutely phenomenal swim that he did in Glasgow in the summer. Of course, the time came up 57.00. That subsequently got corrected to 57.10, world record. And Project 56 is very much alive and running after that swim.
It's just incredible the way he's actually progressed the world record for breaststroke over the last few years. You know, it's absolutely amazing the progress that record's been. It's just been beaten, you know, year after year.
Yes, you think back a few years, and that 59.94, that would have been a British record.
Yeah,
in the pre-PT era.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
100 fly, though, is coming up next, so let's focus our attention on that. 4 heats for the women, and they're up on the blocks now for heat 1. Delphine Little in lane 1, Caitlin Cambrook in 2, Ellie Turner in 3, Serena Iguaram in 4, Emily Ford in 5, Anya Slesser in 6, and Melody Jones goes in 7. 103s and 104s the entry times here. So looking for some strong swims from these swimmers, all juniors, so they'll all be looking to qualify for the junior final tonight. There's a couple more, 3 more juniors to come in the later heats. So you'd expect some of these swimmers anyway to make the junior final. 30.02 is the 50 split. The touch there to Anya Slesser in lane 6. She is just about holding that lead, although coming under a bit of pressure from Emily Ford in lane 5, and on the other side of her, Melody Jones, Also not far away, but it's still the swimmer from Aberdeen who has got the edge. Can she hold on in the last 10 metres? I think she will do, although it's getting tighter as she comes into the wall, but she does take it. 1:04.53. Had to work for that one in the end. Very close to her entry time, 1:04.49. So happy with that, you would think. Second place, Serena Iguarum, 1:04.71, so just 1800ths back, and then another 1100ths to Emily Ford in third place. Tight first heat there.
Serena Guaram came from a long way back there. She was languishing in about 7th place or something at the turn, came back into second, finished really well. She had a busy day yesterday, Serena Guaram. Heat number 2 is underway now. We're straight into the seeded heats. We have Krista Wilson in lane number 1, Cara Standing in lane number 2, Kiana McInnes in lane number 3, Tame Bruce, Scottish record holder, goes in lane number 4, Jeanette Otterson, great Danish champion, goes in lane number 5, Amrita Robertson in 6, Megan Morrison in 7, Marina Heller Hansen in lane number 8. Well, no surprise here, Jeanette Otterson, medalist in all the major championships over the years, making her comeback here. She has been out. She had been first event back after having a baby, Jeanette Otterson, but she's back in the water again, and she's ahead of Tame Bruce. Really good first 50 from Otterson. Tame Bruce coming back in the closing stages here, but it looks like it's going to be the Danish swimmer to take it in 59.85. Good swim there from Jeanette Otterson. And she went out really fast there on that first 50, Duncan.
Yes, she did. We saw her in the medley relay last night. Unfortunately, her team got DQ, but she looked pretty strong in that one. And strong again there, 59.85. 100.7 for Tame Bruce. We'll keep an eye on that time. See if that is good enough for place in the final. Then there was quite a gap after those two to third place. Megan Morrison just touching ahead of Kiana McInnes, so 103's third and fourth place. That might not be good enough, I suspect, for a final spot. Of course, B final in the 100, so they do get a better chance of a second swim. On to heat 3, Abigail Burr in 1 for Swansea University, Jane Brown of Newcastle in 2, then 2 Danes, Amelie Mikkelsen in 3, Emily Beckman in 4. From City of Leeds, we've got Kira Schlossen in 5, Edith Jernstedt of Vasteras in 6, Luna Donde Freiberg of Hovedstatens in 7, and Oline Bjerketvedt of Hemart in lane 8. Through the turn. And got a slight problem with the timing here in the venue, so it stopped us getting a split there, but it's a tight one there between lanes 3 and 4. Mikkelsen and Beckman, so the Danes dominating here. Beckman in, well, I was going to say she had the edge, but as soon as I said that, Mikkelsen came storming through, and she takes the win in the end reasonably comfortably. Bronze medalist in the Danish Open last spring, and a time there of 60.08, so just slightly slower than Otterson. The Danes showing their stuff here in the 100 butterfly.
They are, and she looked very pleased with that swim at the end there, just over the 1 minute mark. The 2 Danes smiling away, having a chat to each other, and I wonder if she's got designs on just dipping under that 1 minute mark in the final. Certainly looking in good shape so far. Final heat is now underway. We have Hannah Denny from Bath University going in lane number 1. Kate Mills from Loughborough in 2. Brigitte Sagard from Castrop in 3. Alice Thomas and Laura Stevens, Swansea University and Plymouth Leander. The 2 medalists, gold and silver medalists in the 200 yesterday. Yasmin Perry from Aberdeen Performance in 6. Gabrielle Melbourne Smith from Warrington in lane 7. And Yvonne Brown, the outside lane, in lane number 8. Well, Alice Thomas had a very good 2018. As we said earlier, she won the title here in the 200 butterfly. at the Edinburgh International last year. Followed that up with a gold medal performance. One of the incredible performances of the Commonwealth Games, winning that gold for Wales. Laura Stevens was also Commonwealth Games swimmer and a finalist in the Gold Coast last year, but it's Thomas who will come in. 59.13, looking very, very good, Alice Thomas, followed by Laura Stevens. They should safely be in that top 8 on the final tonight. Look at Sagard in third spot, 101.97, but excellent swim there from Alice Thomas. Looking pretty relaxed, deceptively relaxed, I'm sure. Alice Thomas was 59.13. Not a slow time whatsoever.
Nope, fastest qualifier by around about 7/10. So we will see her going up against Jeanette Otterson and Amelie Mikkelsen as the fastest 3 qualifiers for the women's 100 butterfly. We stay with butterfly. We double the distance as we go to the men, 200 butterfly. And we've got 4 heats coming up as we just see the ladies clearing the pool. And there's the men into their routines at the blocks. You've just got to get your own little routines going. So lane 1 jumping up and down and getting the stretching going. Lane 2 very focused on the goggles, just making sure they're absolutely right. And bits of slapping and shaking of the arms, all these little routines just to get yourself in the right frame of mind as you get ready to go.
There's always a lot of superstitions for swimmers at the start of races. Everyone has their own things to do, things that need to be done before you get on to those blocks. I always like to have my shoelaces untied.
I hope you still wouldn't have the shoelaces on when you run the blocks.
Exactly. People, I always used to have that. There's one race which was televised in the past. I'm trying to get my shoelaces untied, holding up the whole proceedings as that. But that was a little superstition of mine, and I'm sure everyone used to have their own superstitions there. But they're underway for this first heat. It's all juniors here. This is a spot prize heat, Duncan. So a goodie bag up for grabs here. We heard the klaxon going. Finley Hart going in 1. Johan Rydell in 2, Michael Klemanewski in 3, Jamie McDonald in 4, Mark Ford in 5, Jeremy O'Connor in 6, and Fraser Wilson in 7. Well, we saw Michael Klemanewski yesterday swim in the 1500, had an excellent 1500 race. He obviously likes the tough events, the grueling events, because he leads them through. Well, he doesn't actually second, but only by 1/10 of a second at the halfway point.
Yep, good stuff from Rydell in the first half. Really attacked it early on and still holding that advantage. Klimachevsky in that purple cap also going well in lane 6. There's Jeremy O'Connor from Newcastle. So it'll look to be, in fact, Jeremy O'Connor from Limerick, I should say. Let's get that right. 50 to go. And, well, it's going to be a tight one, I think. Klimachevsky now has the advantage, 135.80, about 34.5 split down that penultimate heat. The early leader Rydell still right in the mix in the white cap at the bottom of your screen. Also starting to make a late move now in lane 4 is Jamie McDonald. They're all lined up here. They all want that goodie bag. It is maybe Rydell who is the favourite to get it though in lane 2. He really pushed it out early on, but he had a good last 50 there because well, he looked perhaps in a spot of bother at the 150, but then really brought it home hard to come in 2:08.71. Nicely inside his entry time by 8/10, so he'll be happy with that as well. And he'll be happy he's got a tier goodie bag. Well done to Rydell.
It's been dangled at the end of the lane there as the swimmers came down for that last 50 there, but a very good last 50 for Johan Rydell from Helsingborg. He wins that first heat, an improved time and a goodie bag for him to go home with in that spot prize heat. Heat 2 is underway. Alex Watkinson from Warrington, that yellow cap Warrington in blade number 1. Jacob Greenough from Bath University in 2. Mark Elric in at 3 from City of Glasgow. Duncan Scott showing his versatility again, going in lane number 4. Thomas Payne, City of Manchester Aquatic in 5. Rasmus Nicholson from Kastrup, the the junior winner of the skins yesterday, Jeffrey Mathau from Stade Clermont in 7, and Magnus Carlsen from Hovenstatens in lane number 8. Duncan Scott back in the water again. Duncan, he's doing a number of events this weekend, another one who had a sensational 2018.
Yes, one of which was bronze in the Commonwealth Games in this event. He doesn't swim 200 fly that often, but he did swim it down in Sheffield at the British Universities. He won that. He swam it here in December in short course, and he won that. So who's to say he's not going to win it again this year here in the Edinburgh International to add to his win in the IM and his silver in the 200 free. 57.51, so pretty respectable first half here. 27.0 for his first 50, 30.5 for his second 50. So we'll see whether he can hold this sort of pace. 1:57.7 his entry time. I don't think he'll be matching that. Did a 1:56 in the Gold Coast. So that is the fastest he has ever been. But he is pushing on nicely here, 1:30.35. So the pace did drop quite a bit in that third 50. You'll, I think, be thinking, well, the work is pretty much done now. Just hold my position. Lane 2, Jacob Greenow in second place. He's another swimmer who's had some good swims yesterday. This is his first swim this morning, and he's looking pretty solid here. He's come in with a 2:03 entry time, so he's not going to be far away from that, as Scott comes in 2:03.20, and you suspect that he can be quite a bit faster than that this evening. I'm sure he'll be there. It's very much a sort of push it hard in the first half there, and well, take it easy. That would be insulting to him, really, but certainly just eased back in the second half.
Yeah, 2:03.20, certainly capable of going faster. Watch out for that in the final. He's got a tough programme though, Duncan Scott, doing a number of events. He's doing almost a Hannah Miley-esque programme here at Edinburgh International. Hannah Miley always famous for doing a number of events here at the national events in Scotland. It look like we are missing a swimmer here as the next heat gets underway. Heat number 3, Jonah Walsh going in lane number 1, Freddie Clampett in lane number 2 from Plymouth Leander. Celia Melly from Limerick goes in lane number 3. We're missing the swimmer in lane number 4. We have Archie Goodburn from Warren de Bass in lane number 5. Missing lane number 6. Tom Downs from City of Sheffield goes in 7, and Adam Brown from Loughborough University goes in lane number 8. So Archie Goodburn got 2 spare lanes on either side of him, so he'll have clear water on either side of him. He's lying in about 3rd position at the moment because lane number 2, Freddie Clampett, has got off to a good start from Plymouth Leander. Freddie Clampett, saw him have a couple of good swims yesterday. He's holding off the challenge from Celia Melly from Limerick as they go through the halfway point, 59.07 for them. And Archie Goodburn, Archie G, as it says on the caption, he is in 3rd spot. And Archie Goodburn had a couple of good swims yesterday, Duncan, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Very promising youngster from the local club Warrender, represented Britain at the European Juniors with good distinction last year, and we're looking to move on from that as he starts to look at the senior opportunities, but he's a little bit away from the main action now. That is Clampett in 2 from Melly in 3. Plymouth versus Limerick here, and it's a close one because with no lane 4 it opens the door for the swimmers in the other lanes, and taking full advantage here. Melly now looks to have the advantage. Winner in the Irish Summer Meet, silver medalist in the Irish Championships back in April. And it's a good solid swim there. Comes in 2:04.71. So 2:01 his entry time. So again, there's potential for him to move on from that. The board here in the venue has gone clear though, so that suggests that maybe the judges have something to talk about. And in fact, it is lane 8. Adam Brown of Loughborough is a disqualification, so unfortunately he will not be progressing forward, but 2:04.71 there, the time for Melly from Freddie Clampett in second place. One more heat to go, and you see a return to the pool of James Guy, winner in that 200 free shootout with Duncan Scott last night. What can he do in the flies? No mean fly swimmer. To Lane in lane 1. Other than that, they're all there. Harry Lewis Mitchell in 2 for Edinburgh University. Michael Gunning of Stockport Metro in 3. James Guy goes for Bath University in 4. Then it's Tom Bealey of Plymouth Leander, Jacob Goodman of Millfield, Jamie Wilkes of Loughborough, and Adam Wilson of Newcastle. So what do we expect to see here from James Guy? Comes in with an entry time 1:56. Winner of this event here last year. Went through to the semi-final in the European Championships. He was 4th fastest in the semi-finals, and then he stood up his chance to concentrate on the relay, which was very public-spirited of Mr. Guy. Had a chance of an individual medal, but he sacrificed that to the greater cause, I guess, of gold.
Yeah, Great Britain relay teams, very successful in recent years. James Guy being an integral part of them. Duncan Scott and Adam Peaty, of course, on the breaststroke for the medley teams, and the Great Britain teams mixing it certainly with the big boys, the Americans and the Australians, and Great Britain now regarded as one of the top relay teams in the world. Big chances of medals at the major championships, and James Guy, I know, loves to be a part of that relay setup. And he is just being headed as they come into the final turn by Tom Bealey, just under the 1:30 mark there, and James Guy just easing like we saw Duncan Scott in the first of the seeded heats, looking very relaxed in this closing stages. Tom Bealey, I think, is going to take this one. His entry time of 1:59.09. James Guy in second spot, should be safely enough through to the top 8 for tonight. Michael Gunning coming back strongly in the closing stages. Tom Bealey takes it just over the 2-minute mark. James Guy in second, 2:03.43, and Michael Gunning did pick up strongly in that last 50 for 2:04.75. So James Guy should be comfortably into that top 8.
But 2:01.51 for Tom Bealey, because we know Tom well from his time in Aberdeen, now down in Plymouth. It seems to have taken to Plymouth life pretty well with that swim. 2:01.51 will put him into lane 4 in the final. And he is 200 fly, very much his signature event, and it would be interesting to see whether he can break through onto the senior scene this year. It's a big opportunity for him, and he's showing some excellent form there. Just to take down James Guy in the heat, and we'll be trying to do it again tonight with Scott around him and Guy. But Tom Bealey, can he do it, do you think?
Well, he'll be in the middle of the 2 big names, Duncan Scott and James Guy on either side of him, so that's one to watch out for in that top 8 shootout tonight. Tom Bealey, very, very good heat swim there. Move on to the next event. The women are just about ready to go, and it's the 400 metres individual medley for the women.
So we have 2 heats to go in this one. Watch out for Spaniard Catalina Corro against Abby Wood of Loughborough in this first heat. Then we have that Miley and Wilmot contest in the second heat. Hopefully they'll both be there. Both swam yesterday, so no reason to think that they won't be. We talked about the schedules that Hannah, she's slightly eased back on that as she's got older, I think, in the last year or 2, but still most swimmers would pale at the program she sets herself. Not a stranger to hard work.
Yeah, a real tough cookie, Hannah Miley. She loves the grueling events, the long events. 400 metres individual medley, 200 butterfly. You'll see her go over an 800 freestyle from time to time as well. So Hannah Miley loves the hard work, and that's maybe why she's she's lasted so long in the game. As we spoke about on the live stream last night in the finals, you know, you see people do multiple Olympic games, but it tends to be the sprinters that do that. The likes of Alison Shepherd, 5 Olympics. Mark Foster, in a similar amount as well. They were all sprinters, one length of the pool. But, you know, Hannah Miley doing the 400 metres individual medley. That's tough to keep that going over 3 Olympic cycles and possibly 4 if she makes it for next year.
Yes, we'll see how she does. Of course, just coming back from injury. But let's focus on the first heat. And then we have here Ellie Riley of Heart of Midlothian, Emma Day of City of Manchester, Katie Shanahan of City of Glasgow, Catalina Corro of Spain, Abby Wood of Loughborough, Lily Booker of Millfield, Amber Keegan back in the water after that 800. She goes for City of Sheffield, and Faye McDonough of Borough of Stockton completing the field lane 8. Early leader Abby Wood of Loughborough, British University's champion, part of the British team in Glasgow and the English team in the Gold Coast, finalist at the Gold Coast, 6th place. So very much perhaps the next generation of British individual medley, following in the footsteps of Miley and Wilmot. And she is going to lead at the end of the fly, 1:05.37. It's great for the younger IM swimmers, I think, to have such swimmers to look up to and then to try and emulate and see how they do it and learn from them.
Yeah, 2 great role models, Hannah Miley and Amy Wilmot, and Abby Wood has been edging ever closer to the big 2 in recent years. She's in a little bit of a tussle now. There are maybe 4 swimmers all in a row here. Emma Day going well in lane number 2 from City of Manchester Aquatic. Maybe I'll touch the wall first here. It's very close between the 4 here. Emma Day does get that touch. Lily Booker in 2nd position. Catalina Corro from Spain in 3rd, and Abby Wood in 4th, but really only a few tenths of a second separating those top 4 as the backstroke progresses. Lily Booker from Millfield goes, well, 2 young swimmers in this one, Katie Shanahan and Faye McDonough, the 2 youngest, both born in 2004, and Katie Shanahan is coming back into contention in lane number 3 there, maybe challenging for 4th spot. A real good prospect, Katie Shanahan from City of Glasgow, and another one who does multiple events, maybe yet to decide what our speciality is going to be going forward, but a very talented individual medley swimmer.
Yes, and this might be the one for her, I think, because if you have that all-round talent, then IM is very often the place to focus on. It's pushing very nicely now in lane 6, the Millfield swimmer Lily Booker. Her time, 4:52, a pretty recent time, done in the Flanders Cup earlier in the year, so she knows she's on form. 4th in the British Summer Championships last year, part of the British team, that young team that went over to Canada. Ontario won that event back before Christmas, short course event. They've done that the last couple of years. The British Swimming sent a young team of talent to Ontario. A great learning experience to swim against people you've never seen in your life before. And I think Lily will have taken a lot from that, and she's coming up at the end of the breaststroke with about a body length advantage. So Millfield swimmer, 18 this year, 3:43.48. So she might fancy herself to be one of the inheritors of the Wilmot and Miley crowns. Can she hold on though, because I think she's got Abby Wood coming at her now in the freestyle. It looks like Abby just bided her time perhaps in the earlier strokes, and now is the time to strike, and she has pulled through as we come up towards the final turn. Good contest for 3rd place going on. Shanahan, we talked about, against Corro of Spain. She'll be wanting perhaps to at least get into 3rd place to try and make sure of a place in the A final. No B final in the 400, so if you want a second swim, you've got to be in the top 8. So Coro's got some work to do here in lane 4, but Abby Wood really, once we got to freestyle, there was only one winner, but Shanahan pushing on very nicely also in the freestyle. She's moved up now into 2nd place, so quite a big turnaround in the freestyle in this first heat, and it is 4:52.10 for Wood. So nice solid swim from her, very tactical swim really, just biding her time and then really pushing it hard. 4:53.61 Shanahan's time, so good swim from the Glasgow youngster. And in the 3rd place, who was 3rd, just having a look through, it was Lily Booker holding off Catalina Coro. So well,
yeah, very good swim there. Abby Woods just stretching away on the freestyle. She was in contention but had enough left in the tank. But Katie Shanahan came again, another swimmer who was a little bit down the field in the early stages, but that's certainly that second half of that 400 medley, the breaststroke and the freestyle, excellent for Katie Shanahan, the youngster. Again, as we said, born in 2004, so just 15 years of age this year, Katie Shanahan. So it's good to see her swimming so well and mixing it with the big names. I'm sure that'll be enough for her to progress to the final this evening. We have a couple of the big names to come, of course, in the 2nd and final heat. You see there Yvonne Brown in lane number 1, Sophia Wilson from Green Cab of Millfield going in lane number 2. Orla Adams and Hannah Miley side by side. Aberdeen Performance swimmers, Amy Wilmot from the University of Stirling going in lane number 5. Laura Stevens back in the water again, expect her to be fast on the butterfly leg. Cara Klein from Potsdamer going in lane number 7, and Scarlett Ferris in lane number 8 for Dundee City Aquatic. Big names in the centre though, Hannah Miley and Amy Wilmot. They have shared Commonwealth Games titles in this event over the last 5 years or so. Glasgow, gold to Miley, silver to Wilmot. It was the other way about in the Gold Coast last year. As expected, out fast is Laura Stevens from Plymouth Leander, silver medalist yesterday in the 200 metres butterfly behind Alice Thomas, and she qualified for the 100 butterfly earlier this morning. So back in again, Laura Stevens. Amy Wilmot still in contention. Amy Wilmot, she has moved about over her career. She's trained at a number of different places, was in the northeast of England, was down in London, settled in Stirling a couple of years ago. She seems to be doing really well in Stirling, and she is just heading Laura Stevens as they came into the end of that butterfly, with Hannah Miley in 3rd spot. But Hannah Miley is always really strong over the closing stages of a 400 metres individual medley. She's down on Amy Wilmot at the moment, but it's just about making that top 8 to get another swim in the final tonight. I'm sure Miley and Wilmot will be favourites to do that. Stevens still in 2nd, Miley in 3rd, but Wilmot hits the front.
Yep, and she certainly, talking about her moving up to Stirling, she really seems to have hit it off with Steve Tigg, the head coach there, and formed a great partnership to really have Amy blossoming in this point in her career. Of course, Hannah Miley was out of the water for the latter part of 2018, so that will have taken its toll, you would think, on her training schedule this season. So we probably shouldn't expect too much from Hannah at this meet. She's really using it, I think, as a chance to get back into top class competition after that time out from the pool through injury. So coming out now 2:16.53, quite a bit faster than the first heat, 4.5 seconds for Wilmot, so she is looking pretty good, as well as that win, of course, in the Commonwealth Games. 4:34 she did there. Just missed the medal behind Hannah Miley in the European Championships, 4th to Hannah's 3rd. Was 3rd here last year. So she'll be looking to improve on that. And I think, well, you wouldn't bet against her. Looking dominant here, as you would expect. Hannah Miley now coming through in the breaststroke very much. It's the second half of her IM, which is the stronger. Breast and then free, but she's, well, you would think going to be hard pressed to get close to Amy Wilmot here. But it's really about qualifying here. So 4:52 in the first heat. Fourth place was 4:56. So if you can be in the top 4 and inside 4:56, then you'll make it into the A final. As I said, no B final, but the juniors have a final in this 400 IM. So 100 to go for Wilmot, 3:37.19. Now some 6 seconds faster than the previous heat, and an advantage of about the same here over Miley. Third place now is Orla Adams, so she'll be looking to be the second from University of Aberdeen into the final tonight. But well stretched out, as you can see on your screen. Just got a shot there of Orla Adams in third place as we see the turn, and what's that, a 10-metre or so lead for Wilmot as she turns down the final 54.11.60 with 50 to go. So she's showing pretty good form here ahead of the British Championships. So you fancy her. Lost her funding, as did Hannah Miley as well this season, but I think both of them probably think that they've got more in the tank. They'll be looking to get themselves onto that World Championship team, and well, Wilmot certainly looking very much on her game. Clearly the fastest qualifier for the final, 4:44.54 for her. So that very solid swim there. Slightly different view as we come in here from the lane 8 side. I've not seen that camera position before. So producer always looking for new angles to see the swimming. Just see the speed that they come in when you're down there on the deck level. You clearly get a concept of the speed that they're going at, and it is pretty fast, isn't it?
Yeah, nearly the swimmer's eye view there, almost. Certainly at the swimmer level there. At this deck level pool here, Commonwealth pool. Amy Wilmot taking it, 4:44.54. Looks pretty good for Amy Wilmot. Hannah Miley in second. As they progress into the final, looks like Abby Wood will be third place into that final. And a few swimmers, you can see the exhaustion on the faces of the swimmers as they try and hoist themselves out of this pool. There's Laura Stevens. Well, she put everything into that, I think. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, so Laura, you might just want to have a look at that shot when you review the tape there, and give yourself a little chuckle there as you watch yourself come out the pool. It just shows 400 IM such a tough event.
That's not fair, really. 400 IM. That was not very good from our producer. Look at the pain on the faces of these swimmers. Well,
so, on behalf of Stream Scene, what do we say? Well, I'm not sure we're going to say sorry. We quite enjoyed it, really.
Yeah, we did.
50 freestyle is next, so something completely different. We've got 4 heats here for the men and 4 heats for the women. More heats to come this afternoon, of course. And we have seen, particularly the junior final, swimmers breaking their way into the finals from the afternoon heats. And not seen yet, I don't think, a swimmer making it into the senior finals from the afternoon, but well, that has to come surely at some point this weekend. So we are looking at the other end of the pool here as we wait for these 50 freestylers to go. So we are treated this 2 lots of skins this evening. So we saw the backstroke earlier, and now we've got the freestyle. Was it the backstroke earlier? I'm losing my mind here. Yes, it was.
Yeah, we've got freestyle and breaststroke to enjoy as well. The 50 freestyle and the 50 breaststroke skins. 50 freestyle for men and 50 breaststroke for the women. We've got Rasmus Nicholson in this first heat there, and what a 50 fly he had in the skins yesterday.
Yes, that was
Amazing.
superb, and because coming up in heat 3, his the one he got the better of in the skins, Scott McClay, so they'll be having another go at the skins tonight. We've got Cumberledge, we've got Thorpe, we've got Duncan Scott. We talked about him right at the beginning of the transmission, doing 50 freestyle.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one. Cumberledge, you've got to say, it must be one of the favourites as well. 50 freestyle specialists.
Yes, he'll be wanting to avoid what happened to him last year when he's just missed the whistle and got left on the blocks on one of the latter rounds of the skins. And of course, once that happens, you are a dead man standing.
But on the 50.
We're getting ahead of ourselves here. First heat of the 50 freestyle. William Graham, Angus Nicol, Johan Rydell, Rasmus Nicholson, Eugene Brooks-Clark, Maxwell Catamol, Sonny Kennedy and Joshua Loney. 24s to 25 dead entry times. Looks like lane 4, Rasmus Nicholson. We talked about him and his 50 fly. So can he force himself into a second set of skins from this first heat? He wins that in 24.36, just outside his entry time. Second place was Angus Nicol, 24.52, and Maxwell Catamol third in 24.73. I suspect that will not be fast enough for him to feature in the skins tonight, but perhaps 53, not so much his game compared with 50 fly.
He had an excellent start, really off the blocks well, and was under half a body length lead as everyone got up into the stroke. Second heat to go though. Jeffrey Chen, Stephen Milne, Miles Mackenzie, Jack Thorpe, Christopher Carlson, Grant Henderson, Sam Horrocks and Ben Martin. Jack Thorpe, Scottish record holder at 22.45 in that centre lane. Stephen Milne also down here in lane number 2, medalist in all the major championships, not at 50 freestyle though, more a distance man. And Jack Thorpe in lane number 4, just holding off the challenge of Christopher Carlson from Helsingborg. Jack Thorpe into the finish, 22.92. Great heat swim there from Jack Thorpe to take that one under the 23-second mark. That's an excellent swim there from Jack Thorpe. Carlson in second and Miles Mackenzie in third. Stephen Milne in fourth position there, with Grant Henderson also under the 24-second mark. But Jack Thorpe, that looked good.
Yes, it did. He's in good form in these last little while. He set that Scottish record last summer at the British Summer Championships, won that, and he was short course champion here in December, British Universities champion as well. So a man on form. As we go to heat 3, Gopi, Boyer, Cowley, McClay, Bain, Lee, Smith and Agnew. Alan Bain and Scott McClay both involved in those 50 flies skins last night, and the two from Stirling are in the centre lanes here, and it looks like lane 5, Callum Bain, the Ulsterman, who's got the edge. Not by much though. McClay is starting to close it down. It's going to be on the touch between the two of them. Really tight there. 23.49. McClay just edges it by 1/100th of a second. 23.50 for Bain, and third place 23.90 for Marcus Lee. He's going to be on the cusp there. That was slightly slower than third place in the previous heat, so we'll see whether that could be fast enough. But well, McClay just edging it there, but still the fastest time.
Yeah, good contest between McClay and Callum Bain there. We are missing at least one lane here, but we do have in this final heat Neil Wiley, Kevin Wick Christensen, David Cumberledge, Duncan Scott, Matthias Reisgaard, Ross Leslie and Sebastian Ovenston. Well, Cumberledge up quickly into his stroke and quickly goes ahead of Duncan Scott, who's now trying to play catch up here. Kevin Wick Christensen in lane number 3, but Cumberledge, it's head down for David Cumberledge here. I'm not sure if he's going to breathe at all on this 50 freestyle. He is into the finish now in 22.91, and that's 1/100th faster than Jack Thorpe, and he will go into the final of the skins in first position. Duncan Scott 23.12, and that may well be enough for a top 8 position. Kevin Wick Christensen in third, 23.55. But Cumberledge up quickly, didn't use much underwater, quickly into his stroke, head down.
Yeah, it's going to be a cracking race there between the two training partners, Thorpe and Cumberledge. There'll be a little bit of personal rivalry there, I think. See who's going to win out. So Edinburgh University, of course, sponsors of this meet, and they are going to be showing their stuff in the 50 freestyle tonight. Looking forward to that one. I think that's going to be really good. 50 breaststroke, though, is next up. Again, we've got 4 heats. Just the 3 girls going in heat 1. Hannah Cool of St Thomas, and Owen of Edinburgh University, and Jess Procus, the youngster from Cockermouth, in lane 5. And they are just about ready to go now. They scroll through the results on the board between heats here in the venue, so just a little bit of a pause between events, but there is the lineup, as I said. Cool, Owen and Procas. Entry times all in the 34s, just a couple of tenths between them, 3 of them on paper. And off they go. Coming out from the dive, it does look like it's the Edinburgh University swimmer, Amber Owen, just perhaps using her experience and strength off the blocks there to give herself the early advantage, and she is maintaining that pretty well. We'll see whether Procas, maybe the most likely to set in a bit of a challenge in lane 5, but it is still Amber Owen, and she'll not be denied now. This is going to be a pretty comfortable win for her in 33.99, so nearly half a second inside her entry time. So you have to be pretty happy with that. 35.21 and 35.62. Slight confusion there on the board, but those are the correct times for Owen, Procas and Cool. So we go to heat number 2.
The board sorting itself out now. That is the lineup for heat number 2. Eve Thompson, Stina Cascoliu, Camilla Kitching, Marina Garcia, Annabelle Guy-Johnson, Islaine Penfold, Naomi Van Dongen and Nicole Reynolds. That's who is in this second heat. Marina Garcia from Spain with that blue cap will be the favourite. Fastest entry time just ahead of Annabelle Guy-Johnson. Trying to make amends for disqualification yesterday. Guy-Johnson in lane number 5. She's being headed by the Spaniard, Marina Garcia. Camilla Kitchen going well too in lane number 3. It is Garcia. Will take it in 32.46. And Camilla Kitchen 32.91. It's Penfold in 3rd. And Guy Johnson in 4th place with 32.46. 2 more heats to come, Duncan. And that should be good enough for Marina Garcia to progress to that final. We'll see though, another 16 swimmers to come, and there's the lineup for the next heat, heat number 3.
Yep, Jessica Val in lane 4, Josephine Pedersen in 5, but the headliners here, we've got Le Mesurier, Goodburn, Hanlon, Val, Pedersen, Taylor, Gard and Silla. Sophia Silla had some good swims yesterday, the City of Oxford swimmer. Talked about City of Oxford and breaststroke. She's right up at the top of the screen here. A junior going up against the senior swimmers in the centre lanes, and it's all to play for here. Val in lane 4, Spanish Open winner, and she is going to come through and take the win. Fast stroke right there. She comes in 31.74, 7 tenths or so faster than Garcia in the previous heat. So the Spanish showing their abilities here. Hanlon 32.12, so a nice swim from her, taking 2nd place there, and Rachel Taylor was 3rd, 32.49, so that was faster than 3rd place in the 2nd heat, so promising for a place in the final for her.
4th heat just about ready to go. Lucy Ross, Orla Adams, Hannah Brunsell, Sarah Vasey, Tilda Schroeder, Hannah Vermouth, Lily Booker and Laura Hawkins. Our favourite for this one, Commonwealth champion Sarah Vasey, goes in lane number 4, and she is in a tussle at the front of the field. Matilda Schroeder from Denmark also going well, European Championship swimmer for the Danish team, and it is these two, Vasey and Schroeder. Side by side here, stroke for stroke, coming into the finish. Whoosh, reaches it. It is Cervezi, 31.81, wins by 0.2 of a second. And that is pretty close to the time of Jessica Val in that previous heat. 31.81 for the Commonwealth champion, with Matilda Schroeder in second position. Promises to be a really close final, this one. Cervezi, renowned of course for 50 breaststroke. The likes of Jessica Val, more renowned over the 200 breaststroke, but coming down the distances for this 50 breaststroke. Of course, it will be skins. So does that favour the sprinters? Does the stamina favour the 200 specialists as they go into these skins?
Well, they've got a decision to make, haven't they? Because they get prize money for winning the first round, so they could go hell for leather there. Then they've got to decide whether they fancy going through all the 5 rounds. We saw a couple last night who decided that they will duck out after the first round, and so that will be the first tactic, I think, to decide upon. But if they do decide to see it through, well, you'd maybe fancy the ones that have got the stamina, because once you get to rounds 4 and 5, it starts to hurt.
50 breaststrokes in quick succession in the skins. It's going to be tough, but we've seen it before. Looking forward already to the men's 50 breaststroke. We see Adam Peaty put an incredible series of 50 breaststrokes, which would have probably won. Each of his swims in the 50 breaststroke would have won the individual final in 50 breaststroke, wouldn't they? Incredible performance by Adam Peaty a couple of years back.
Yep, but something different now. We're back to 800. This is the men this time. We saw the women at the top of the session. 3 swimmers in. We've got 2 heats for you this morning. The third heat will swim tonight. So the 3 swimmers in this first heat: Liam McLaughlin of Warrender in lane 3, Kieran Thomas of Newcastle Swim Team in 4, and Alexander Savic of Serbia in lane 5. 28.57. Early days, of course. 16 lengths of the pool. Do you think we can get nice 1-minute splits here, as we saw in the 1500 last night? Probably not in this heat. That would be
Probably not.
Very impressive for these guys. They're entered 8:31 to 8:38. So that's the sort of times they will be targeting. Kieran Thomas with the early advantage. 59.86. Well, he's done it for the first 100, but well, has of course the advantage of the dive, so don't expect them to maintain minute pace here. Liam McLaughlin, Youth Development Squad member in the Scottish Performance Programme. He is in lane 3 and just on the shoulder of Thomas.
He had good tactics in the 1500 yesterday. Just bided his time in the early stages and came through in his 1500 metre heat first thing yesterday morning. Liam McLaughlin did a good job in that 1500. I wonder if he's going to get his tactics right here in the 800. Looking comfortable in this early stages. Alexander Savic from Serbia goes up there in lane number 5 on up the top of your screen as we are looking at it. Alexander Savic had a busy day yesterday. Swam in the heats. He swam in a couple of finals last night. Almost missed one of his finals because he was his 2 finals came in quick succession. But he made it. It's good to see the Serbian team here. 30 countries we made it taking part in these Edinburgh International Championships. A great lineup of countries. See the flags just in your shot there, just disappearing out of shot on the left. We're having the flag naming game a little bit early on. I think we've managed to nail most of them, Duncan, but Serbia represented there.
Yes, Hong Kong was the one that got me. I didn't get that one, but had to be enlightened there. But nice to see all of these nations represented. But it's developing into an England-Scotland contest. Newcastle versus Warrender, battle of the A1. And it's still just Kieran Thomas in the black cap as we come up to 300 metres. Let's see what his time is here. He did about a 64 and a bit, 64 and a half for his second 100. 3:08.93, so he's in the same sort of territory for his third 100. So nice steady pacing. Liam McLaughlin still within half a second of him. Then the Serb just in danger of getting a little bit detached from the two in front of him. He's about 5 meters back. He won't want that to grow much more if it's to give himself a chance of coming back in the second half. So it was half a second the gap. It's a little bit more than that now, about 7/10. There you can see on the screen, 0.68 the gap, but well, that doesn't really amount to much in the context of an 800. McLaughlin, contrasting strokes here. McLaughlin smoother perhaps, and that's slower, powerful stroke, and a little bit more rotation and movement from Thomas, but it's pretty effective. 4:13.67. Again, just over 64.5 split, so he's holding that pace well. Still pretty much the same gap between them, just under 7/10. Nice action shot there of the two of them working together. Really looking to just get every bit of efficiency into the stroke. Coming under the flags there. And is it still 7/10 the gap? No, it shrunk. It's down to 2/10 now. So this is getting tighter. McLaughlin just about on terms now. So we talked about his 1500 swim, ended up third fastest junior. And he's looking to put in another strong one here. McLaughlin did his entry time 8:38 last summer at the British Summer Championships. And just 2/10 again, the gap at 500, 5:19.51. So you see this quite often, just the pace slightly slipping as you get to 500 and 600 meters. It's very hard to sustain the pace all the way consistently through it.
Yeah, middle part of that 800, very difficult to keep it going. That's the tough part. The third quarter we're into now. It'll be in the last quarter when they get down to this bottom end. Might see a little bit more focus now as they move into the last 200, but very good swim there over that last 50 there. Just came off the wall well. Was Kieran Thomas. That's brought him a little bit of distance ahead of Liam McLaughlin again. So the gap just opening up as they come down to this 600 metre range. They are picked up the pace, certainly 6:24.50. So that's around about 105. So it's a little bit faster than that previous 100. Just the injection of pace there that Kieran Thomas has taken him away from Liam McLaughlin. Liam McLaughlin now is going to have to try and respond. I suppose the different tactics could come into play in this 800. The swimmers looking to swim very even splits. Some will try to build towards the end of the race. And looks like Kieran Thomas hit a certain distance and decided, right, I want to put a little bit more pace into this one. Try and take him away from Liam McLaughlin. That's exactly what has happened now. But Kieran Thomas will be coming down to the 700 metre mark, and he is going to have a clear lead. There's clear water now between him and Liam McLaughlin. Pace definitely lifted. I wonder if he's going to be somewhere around about the 7:30 or under the 7:30 range as he comes and takes the bell. Yeah, 7:28. Definitely an increase in pace there. Duncan and McLaughlin got some work to do if he's going to get up in terms with Kieran Thomas now.
Yeah, it seems very unlikely now. He's over 3.5 seconds behind with just 100 to go. As we see this going his turn. There's our coaching contingent. Kostas Kalitsas from Warrender, Liam McLaughlin's coach, looking on and seeing his charge here, trying to close the gap on Thomas, but Thomas turns for home. 8:00.85. So still got the advantage of over 3.5 seconds. So that is staying pretty steady now. And well, it was really that move at around about 550 meters that made the difference. Kieran Thomas really just upping his game at that point. We talked about how hard it was in the second half. As again, we get another shot of coach encouragement there, but it is Kieran Thomas, very solid swim from him. 8:31.56 for him. Be pretty happy with that. 8:31.02 is entry time, so very close to that. Liam McLaughlin 8:35.75, so he's inside his entry time, so a good swim from Liam there. Nearly 3 seconds of an improvement for him against his entry time, and Savage 8:51.65 in third place. So the second heat is up now. As I said earlier, the final heat takes place in tonight's session. So line up there for heat number 2, 7 swimmers in this one. They're all present and correct. So we have Daniel Ferguson of West Lothian in 1, Isaac Wikstrom of Helsingborg in 2, Harley Beach of Edinburgh University in 3, Christian Rasmussen of Kastrup in 4, Max Murphy of Loughborough in 5, Kieran Bird of Bath University in 6, and John Wright of University of Aberdeen Performance Team in lane 7. Entry times in this one 8:21 up to 8:29. So it should be faster than we saw from Thomas. But that was a solid swim. Kieran Bird and John Wright up at the top of your screen, the early leaders. Bird from Millfield, Wright from Aberdeen. And it is Kieran Bird just coming from that turn with a bit of an advantage there in lane 7. In the dark cap. And he is going to lead by maybe 1.5 meters at the 100. Under the, well, I thought it was going to be under the minute, but no, 1:00:13. So that's actually slightly slower than Kieran Thomas's split at this stage. Very early days, of course. Lanes 1 and 2 making a bit of a move, not far away. Ferguson and Wikstrom. Lane 5 as well, Max Murphy of Loughborough, but it is Kieran Bird showing his stuff here.
Well, they're almost in an inverted V shape there as they go down to the bottom end of the pool in the 200 mark. It's exactly the opposite that we might have expected if they've gone according to the seeding, but still looking comfortable in the early stages. Great shot there, all the technique of the leader. That's Kieran Bird going into the 200 mark. Let's see what his split's going to be. He's gone a little bit faster now than the previous heat, around about 1:03 there, just high 1:02s for Kieran Bird. That's good pace if he's able to hold that towards the end. He's got a clear lead over everyone else in the field now. Just wonder if the swimmers in the middle, a little bit something left for the later stages here. Good contest for, well, all of the other places, you have to say. No one out of contention just yet. Certainly, very good start there for Kieran Bird, keeping him ahead of the others. Very close for second as they go over there. Daniel Ferguson, the only junior in this second heat, challenging for second position there. Max Murphy very close to him as well. We come down to the 300 range, and well, the longer this race goes on, the lead is extending all the time. We'll just have a check on the gap as they go through at 300. Kieran Bird, Bath University, 3:06.24. And he has a lead there over Daniel Ferguson of about 5 seconds or so, just over 5 seconds. I'll keep an eye on that gap, but certainly looking in good shape. Kieran Bird from Bath University. Bath University, of course, now have James Guy with Cameron Curl, so a good squad of freestylers, middle distance freestylers in Bath University programme as well. So I'm sure the likes of Kieran Bird benefiting from their experience training alongside them, and he certainly, as he comes down to the halfway point, looks in no danger at all and extending that lead. Daniel Ferguson probably just slipping back into third spot behind Max Murphy now. They're coming up to the halfway point. And the time for Kieran Bird as they go along 409.98. So still in the 103 range. Duncan, pretty good stuff so far.
Yes, he's looking very solid here. If he can keep these 103s going, then he's in for a good time here. His entry time 8:24, so certainly will be shaping up around or perhaps slightly inside that. The other thing to keep an eye on is Daniel Ferguson. As you said, the last junior, the first heat was all juniors, so he has to try and beat Kieran Thomas's time. I can tell you at the moment he is about 3 seconds behind that time at this stage, so Kieran Thomas at the moment looks to be set to be the junior champion unless Daniel Ferguson can really pick it up in the second half. Lovely shots there of Kieran as he comes down towards the 500. You can see just the extent of his lead now. It is, 13-14 meters as he goes through 500, 5:13.28, so still just over the 63 mark. So you could do some mental math there. Another 363s, just under around the 310 mark, so 8:23 that would say, and a little bit off that for the sprint finish, and well, he'll be knocking at the door, you would think, of his entry time. 8:24.24, every chance, you would say, if he can hold this together in this difficult stage of the race, of improving on that time. And that, of course, is a nice setup ahead of the British Championships. If you know you're on form, you know you're improving the time, and you're in heavy training, then once you get to the taper, you must feel, well, I can really knock it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw a few swimmers yesterday, smiles on their faces, going into these major championships in a month or so's time, that they are in good shape. They're exactly where they wanted to be, and I expect to see some fast swims at that British Championships in Glasgow. Be a good event. Big names will be there, so get along to see them if you can in Glasgow in the middle of April. Kieran Bird will be working towards that, I'm sure. He's gone through the 600 mark, still hitting those 103s, so keeping that pace going. He'll get the bell when he goes down to the bottom end again. Kieran Bird stretching that lead all the time. Second spot still looks like it is Max Murphy. Daniel Ferguson, well, a little bit of work to do if he's going to get on terms with that first heat. Kieran Thomas, we know Kieran Thomas finished very strongly in that first heat, so it looks like it's going to be a tough ask for Daniel Ferguson, but he is challenging for second position as Kieran Bird comes down to take the bell. And still with 7:21 for Kieran Bird, just dropping off the pace very slightly, Duncan.
Yes, that was 64.6, something like that. So let's see if he can really pick it up now in this final length and a half, particularly perhaps once he goes through the turn. Just watch out to see whether those legs really start to go. He's beating pretty hard there as he comes up towards the final turn. Let's see what the time is, 7:53.41, so that was a 32 split there. So now be looking to really pick it up hard. You can see Daniel Ferguson there coming up towards his final turn in that contest for second place with Max Murphy. Looks like Max maybe still just edging second by maybe half a second or so, but well, no doubt about who's going to win this. So can he get inside his entry time? He's going to be very close to it, 8:23.50, so yes he did. Very nice stuff. He was 3/4 of a second inside his entry time, so you'll feel good about that. You see the second and third place swimmers coming in now, and it's pretty tight all the way through here. Oh, it goes to Murphy, 8:38.95 and 8:38.97. You swim for over 8.5 minutes and you're separated by 0.02 of a second.
Well, Daniel Ferguson on the wrong end of that 2/100ths of a second, unfortunately for him. A great contest. They were separated by a few lanes. They wouldn't have been aware of each other, but it was good for us to watch here as they came into the finish.
Yeah, and so that does confirm that Kieran Thomas, with his 8:31.56, he will be the junior champion here at the Edinburgh International. But Daniel not that far behind him, just 3 seconds or so. Get that near shot. These boys looking pretty fresh coming out the pool there. Well done, guys. So we're done with the 800 freestyle for this morning. As I said, we'll be back for the final heat this evening. We stay with freestyle though, and we go to 200 freestyle to finish off this morning's session for the women, and this will go in 5 heats, just 3 in the first. Edel Daly from Limerick, Millie Fields from Bishop Stortford, and Serena Iguarum from City of Glasgow. 2:06 to 2:08 the entry times here. Nice start from the Irish girl Edel in lane 3, so she's taking it out well here. And the Irish Championships course also will be coming up fairly shortly in Dublin, so these Limerick swimmers will be focusing on that once they come back to Ireland from Edinburgh, because Ireland developing strongly as a swimming nation. We're seeing some really promising swimmers come through. Got European medals last summer. So Shane Ryan it was there in the sprint, so promising things to come from the Irish.
I was in Dublin last summer for the Para European Championships. And the Irish came out in great force to support their Para internationalists at Dublin, and ended up with a gold medal on the last day, which was a fairy tale ending for the Irish nation. I absolutely loved that. Ellen Keane winning that for the Irish team. Good contest here in this 200. Edel Daly started well. She's just been eclipsed by Millie Fields now coming up to the last turn. Serena Iguarum coming through strongly as we saw her. Serena Iguarum set herself a tough programme here in these first couple of days. She's had a number of swims already, and Millie Fields looks like the most likely here as she comes down to the final stages of this 200. Edel Daly is coming back strongly in the closing stages, though. Millie Fields got away from that turn. Thought she had it sewn up, but has she? As Edel Daly coming back with every stroke, but Millie Fields is going to get this one in 2:08.78. Oh, just a second or so outside her entry time. Edel Daly in second in 2:09.22, and Serena Iguarum in third position. Another swim for Serena. I think that's her third swim of the morning.
Quite a few anyway.
Second, yeah.
Heat 2 up on the blocks. Rebecca Reid of Aberdeen, Emma Russell of Hearts, Juliette Cassini of Edinburgh University, her teammate Tara Hayworth in 4, Chiara Klein in 5 for Potsdamer, Alicia Lundblad of Helsingborg in 6, Johanna Hingebjerg of Hovedstatens in 7, and Iona McLeod, Dundee City Aquatics in 8. So the 2 on the 2 outside lanes swam in that 800 right at the beginning of the morning. Now they're back again, had plenty of time to recover from that. And a good start in, well, for a number of swimmers really. It's Emma Russell leading the way in lane 2, very strong young Scottish freestyler. Went over to Geneva with a young Scottish team, won the youth final there at the beginning of the year. Beside her, Juliette Cassini of Edinburgh University, Belgian swimmer, studying in Edinburgh. 101.40, she now has the edge, 101.41 I should say. But very little to choose really between Russell and Cassini in lanes 2 and 3. Starting to make a bit of a move. Tara Hayworth in lane 4. fastest entry time of these swimmers, but only by 100th from Chiara Klein. Chiara, though, has got some serious work to do in the final 50 if she's to figure. So it is Russell, Cassini and Hayworth, you would think, as we turn for home. Russell perhaps just moving up now at the advantage at the 150, and we'll be looking to see this one through. Long levers doing their stuff here as Emma Russell, without looking to be frantic or by any means, is just showing lots of power here and is taking it pretty comfortably in the end. 2:05.60 for her. Good heat swim, just 7/10 away from her entry time for the junior. So the question is, which final will she swim in? She'll certainly be swimming again tonight. Will that be good enough for place in the A or the B final? I think it's got every chance of it. Hayworth second, just ahead of her teammate Cassini.
It was nice to see that Edinburgh derby yesterday between Emma Russell and Katie Goodburn in one of the junior finals, fighting it out for the top 2 places. So local swimmers mixing it with the internationalists here in Edinburgh. Another good swim there from Emma Russell. Heat number 3 is the first of the seeded heats. Big names in the centre lanes here. Lola Davison goes in lane number 1, junior swimmer from Newcastle. Had an excellent swim yesterday, Lola Davison. Emily Guntress from Denmark, the Danish internationalist, integral part of the very successful Danish relay team in the international competitions, European medalist last year. Marina Heller Hansen, Hovenstatten's swimmer, goes in lane number 3. Freya Anderson, well, one of the real emerging talents of British swimming in recent years in the freestyle events. Freya Anderson going in lane 4. Georgia Coates for Bath University, another one of that Bath squad, goes in lane number 5. Marina Garcia of Spain goes in 6. Hannah Miley back in again in lane number 7, and I don't think we have anyone in lane number 8. Freya Anderson swam an excellent skins event yesterday. She really came to the fore a couple of years ago in the World and European Juniors, Freya Anderson. But last year, well, in the European Championships, dealt with all the pressure that was given to her. Featured very heavily in the Great Britain relay teams, very often on the final leg where all the pressure was building up on her. But the youngster performed extremely well. Freya Anderson coming away with a clutch of medals in those European Championships in Glasgow, and coming back in the closing stages here. Anderson, Emily Guntress has led for a long time, but it looks like she might just be overtaken by Freya Anderson and Georgia Coates, the 2 GB swimmers. Look like they are going to be 1 and 2 at the end. Anderson takes it in 2:02.07, coming through in the closing stages there, with Georgia Coates a couple of tenths behind, and Emily Guntress, the long-time leader, has to settle for a 3rd spot.
Interesting tactics there from Freya Anderson. She was very relaxed in the first half. They're well down in the field, and then relying on her sprint speed at the end to bring her through, and it worked for her.
Yeah, certainly did. Coming through the field to claim that top spot and to claim a space in the top 8, you would think.
Penultimate heat of the morning session. We have Hannah Bergman of Poseidon in lane 1, Maddie Crompton of Bath University in 2, Monique Olivier, Edinburgh University in 3, Lucy Hope, also of Edinburgh University in 4, Lidon Munoz of Spain in 5, Rachel Masson of Edinburgh University in 6, Martha Lovberg of Lambertseter in 7, and Amy Grant of Loughborough in 8. Rachel Masson off to a good start, one of 3 Edinburgh University swimmers in this heat, 28.14 for the Scot in lane 6, and she is about a metre up on the 2 in the centre lanes. Hope and Munoz. Lucy Hope looked a little bit off her game in the 50 backstroke, so we'll see whether she was maybe just holding it back for this event. Let's just wait and see. Munoz beside her. the experienced Spaniard. Swam for Spain in the Mediterranean Games, just missed the medal there last summer. Still, it's Masson though, leads the way in lane 6, although she's coming under pressure now from her teammate Hope, and in between them Munoz. So these three with the edge, not a huge lead, but they do have the lead. Now it is the centre lanes as we go through the final turn. Munoz just touching ahead of Hope as they turn for home, just a 10th in it, well 1200ths to be precise. Not out of it by any means. Another Edinburgh University swimmer, the Luxembourg swimmer Monique Olivier, and she is moving up onto the shoulder of Lucy Hope, but it's Munoz who has the advantage now in lane 5. I think she's going to take this one. A late push from Marta Lovberg in lane 7 might just get her second place, challenging Lucy Hope, but it is lane 5, Lidon Munoz, who takes it in the end fairly comfortably, 2:02.78. A little bit slower than Freya Anderson's time from Heat 2, but I think that will be second fastest at this point. Lucy Hope taking second, and Marta Lovberg was third. One heat to go.
Yeah, it did look a little bit slower. Well, it was a little bit slower than Freya Anderson's time, but it looked a lot more hard work for the swimmers at the front of the field there. Final heat of this morning's session sees Leah Crisp, that yellow cap of City of Leeds, to the left of your screen in lane number 1. Lena Krundo from Linz, the Austrian, in lane number 2. Two Spaniards, Africa Zamorano and Melanie Costa, in the centre lanes 3 and 4. Signe Bro from Denmark in 5. Candice Hall from Loughborough University in lane number 6. Maria Grant from Hovenstatens in 7, and Abigail Burr from Swansea University going in lane number 8. Signe Bro first to the 50 metre mark in lane number 5, being challenged by Candice Hall from Loughborough University. You have to think that Melanie Costa will be the favourite for this one. Swimmer, great form, experienced campaigner from Spain, Melanie Costa again. Medalist, attendee at all the major championships, winning international medals in the past. Melanie Costa, the World Championships. She's been headed by Signe Bro, another of that group of talented Danish freestylers who featured heavily in the shake-up for medals in the likes of the European Championships, where they took the bronze medal in the freestyle relay. She leads Melanie Costa. They come into this final turn. Candice Hall still going well, the Loughborough swimmer, still holding on to second spot. A good contest, this one. Going to push each other on. I wonder if they are going to be faster than the time set by Freya Anderson. Bro certainly heading for home here, and Costa, well, she's going to have to watch the position here. Melanie Costa, she doesn't want to be overtaken by her teammate Africa Zamorano, leaving her a little bit on the cusp of making that top 8. Zamorano coming back very strongly. It is going to be close for the minor places. The win is going to go to Signe Bro, 2:01.80. Candice Hall in second, and the two Spaniards in third and fourth. And it's going to be close. I think they might just sneak in though, Duncan, the two Spaniards into that top 8.
Yeah, we'll see in a moment, but Bro will be the fastest qualifier, 2:01.80, a couple of tenths faster than Freya Anderson, so that will be a good contest. But the Spaniards, let's just see if they are there. Just looking there, we've got Bro, Anderson, Coates, Munoz, Gentries, Hall, Costa and Zamorano, so they just sneaked in 7th and 8th, so they'll be in lanes 1 and 8 tonight.
All part of the master plan.
Okay, well, of course, we saw in 200 freestyle Duncan Scott doing it from the outside lane, so you never know. If you've got a lane, as they say, you've got a chance. Well, that doesn't quite complete things here, because I'm not quite sure what's going on here, but we've got some swimmers going. It looks like it must be a swim off, is it? Just trying to figure out what's going on here. So there's a good number of swimmers involved here. So is this 2 swim offs for the price of 1? Just trying to get some information about that, and we'll get that to you shortly. So one is for second reserve for the seniors, and one is for an 8th place spot for the juniors. I'll try and give you a note of who the swimmers are just in a moment.
Taking us a bit by surprise here. We've got Perry Gardner and Craig McNally going side by side in lanes 2 and 3. Alfie Scott and Carl Barrett in lanes 6 and 7. So Gardner and McNally are closest to us. It's 50 metres backstroke, one length of the pool. Alfie Scott and Carl Barrett in the top end there. So Perry Gardner closest to us. McNally one lane up, and Gardner just with the edge over McNally at the moment. And Alfie Scott and Carl Barrett are at the top there. We'll come back to them. McNally and Gardner coming in absolutely together. Maybe McNally might take it. It's very tight indeed, and it is McNally. 5/100ths of a second separating them. But as luck would have it, Duncan, the scoreboard has gone blank. Has someone fallen foul of the officials again? Well,
the answer is yes. It's Alfie Scott in that contest for the place in the junior final. So Carl Barrett will pick up that place, 28.00, but it is confirmed that Craig McNally just put one over his teammate Perry Gardner by 500th of a second. He'll enjoy that one going back to Stirling. So, but it is for a reserve place, so we may not see either of them again, but you never know. Craig McNally making a little bit of a speciality of 50 backstroke in recent years, as we said earlier, mainly 200 backstroke. But that's it for us for this morning's session. We'll be back for the afternoon session at 12 o'clock. We hope that you will join us there. But from myself, Duncan McKinnell, from my co-commentator Paul Noble, from the Royal Commonwealth Pool, for now, we'll wish you a very good morning.